Good morning, welcome. I think we've got a pretty good group here. We have quorum, it looks like, by the latest count. We will start with our agenda items. First, we have a couple of motions we need to deal with, housekeeping matters. Number 3 on the agenda, the approval of the minutes of the last meeting of February 7th, which is in your packet. Do we have any amendments or motions to those minutes? We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, we also have in the packet the financial statements last 30 days. Do we have any questions about that? Mr. Grossman is here to answer anything you'd like to know. How's that?
You will note there's a different charge that we haven't had in the past, $10,000 to Jim McCarty, who did the survey on the, that was the contribution to DLMD, and the DLP also contributed like amount of funds, I believe, correct? So it would have $392,713 in their balance.
Okay, if no further questions, I'll take a motion to approve the financials.
So moved.
Have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Second. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Anybody have any items they'd like to talk about in the public forum? I think, Kate, we got you at the end on item 8, so we'll get to you. Anybody else have anything? We roll into our work portion. Okay, we'll start with Terry. You want to give us an update on item number 6 for the retreat?
Yeah, good. I'm going to, for my set of reports, I'm going to do a presentation, so we'll go out around. All right. Okay, I want to just bring people up to date on what I call the boards retreat, right? So we're having a joint retreat of the 2 boards, that being the DLMD board and the Downtown Lexington Partnership board. That's March 21st. It'll be at the Hilton Hotel. There's a lot of things kind of going on with that, so I want to go over kind of the schedule. 7:30 to 10 is the boards retreat. And then, we have a group called the Downtown Lexington Partnership Advisory Board. And it's a group of 40 folks that have been committed to the DLC in prior years for a long time. So we're trying to figure out how they remain engaged. And so we're going to lead them through, show them the work that's done in the morning, and then kind of ask them how they want to continue to be a part of downtown and moving it forward. So that'll be from 11:30 to 1. And then from 5 to 7 is we're inviting everyone, that being funders, property owners, business operators, stakeholders, residents, collaborating organizations, everyone. We want them to come in and take a look at the work and then weigh in on stuff, giving them a pen and some dots and giving us feedback of where we think we want to head. And so what I'm hoping to do during that time period is also have where both boards come back in the evening and help us man kind of areas that are up on the wall. And just so as people walk by and they have questions, you can kind of say, hey, well, here's pins, here's what we were thinking, and that kind of stuff. So we're engaging folks in the process as well. And it should be kind of fun. In some ways it should be social and kind of a networking thing. But what I also hope to do is have, so that we all, let's see, we have some of our staff here. I'm going to pick on, Kyle, can you show your shirt?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So I want us all to,
You have to do a full runway.
So we want to get more shirts for everyone. We ought to be kind of walking billboards of who we are and stuff. So there'll be a shirt like this for the DLMD, and then our board will also have, the DLP will have that. So now when people come in, they'll know who's kind of doing the stuff, and that we're kind of even look like we're united as a team and stuff like that. So it should be fun. I hope to get that all. We'll be asking for sizes and order those things and get them all so that you'll have them ahead of time. And so it should be kind of a fun kind of thing. Any questions on that? Okay. So remember, David and I have been working on, and a bunch of folks, this issue we've had with the transient behavior and things like that. So the first thing we said is, let's expand the safety ambassador program, but we also, our approach as an organization should be, we need to engage stakeholders and understand kind of what's going on and involve them in solution making. So we had a meeting with the stakeholders and the police, DLP, David, parking authority, and what am I missing? And that's it, Holly and Office of Homelessness. So we came together and we developed a broader, more comprehensive approach of how we deal with things, with these issues. And the way I look at it is, we have to fire a lot of bullets at stuff sometimes, especially things like this, in order to modify behavior and kind of make it an environment that's better for us. And so I'm going to kind of go some general stuff of kind of where we're at. We still have more steps to go through, but I'm hoping by April 1, now we're kind of pushing back some of the launch of the ambassadors that will have a really positive approach. It'll be interesting. We are not focusing on just, hey, we got to deal with transients. It's a broader, more positive message of how do we help. And so it's been a really good dialogue and development. So again, the folks that who will be involved in this are DLMD, DLP, and Block by Block, Lexington Police, Office of Homelessness, the parking operators, and the businesses. We find that in some ways the businesses are enablers, and so we have to do a good job of educating those folks and giving them an approach to dealing with some stuff. So kind of the way, let's see, I'm going to go backwards. No, okay. So we kind of took a look at it first by geography. If you think about where we have challenges with transients and panhandling, is you have flashpoint in parking lots. That's private property. We have flashpoints of people in the right-of-way, public property. And then inside the businesses, again, private property. But how you deal with it on private property inside of a business versus a parking lot, a little bit different. And so we wanted to first figure out how the different geographies where we're having problems. And then, again, as I say, fire a lot of things at this. But as we started to talk, we also developed a dialogue with the Office of Homelessness, and that we think there's an opportunity to expand what the DLMD has put in as dollars to do the safety ambassadors, combined with some of their dollars, the Office of Homelessness, and create a second chance employment opportunity for folks who have had some challenges with employment and maybe transitioning from homelessness to trying to get traction again. And so it's going to, let's see if it goes right, you guys put in 25. In the next 6 months, it could be as high as $100,000 that they're willing to put in. So we're able to do some pretty significant things and help people at the same time. And so in some ways, what our message is going to be is let's help and let's get the public, if they're going to give towards helping sustain this program of second chance employment, of which the businesses are a partner, the city's a partner, and this organization is a partner. And so that's kind of the idea. But then what we also have is, so we have patrols, right? Patrolling the right-of-way. And we have, now we'll be working with parking operators and having parking attendants. That'll be the second chance employment folks. And we'll give them ambassador training, and they'll be stationary, and they'll be greeting folks as they come in, and now they can help with folks who are getting parked and helping them find their way. And then we'll have the more veteran ambassadors of Block by Block, and Block by Block will be managing all of this. They'll be patrolling along with police the right-of-way. And then inside the businesses, that's where we have to do a better job of educating the staff of how to deal with these things and having signage, post signage in the on the parking lot and in the businesses that feel comfortable with that. And then there's this ability, the police are able and the property owners are able to work together with the top offenders to actually say, hey, you know what, you're not welcome on my property anymore. And so now they can criminal trespass them. And so now you've really deterred the frequent flyers while we're helping people and we're helping our customers. And then we've even talked about, can we, again, maybe put together another meter program, right, where you have a parking meter or something where people can give there, but now they know what it goes to. It goes to this second chance employment. And now we can get the folks inside the restaurants and the businesses who sometimes the staff feel, bad, so they give. Now you, as a company, you say, here's what we're going to give, and we will match any dollar that the staff puts in. And so we can do this together as a coordinated approach. So that's what we're trying to get to, is we're going to kind of squeeze the behavior and give people second chance opportunities and redirect those dollars to something that's really going to be beneficial to the community. So that all kind of came about with a one meeting of, hey, should we expand the ambassadors and how should we do it, and getting people around the table. So we're hopeful that we'll be meeting with Polly at Office of Homelessness the 13th. I get confused on my calendar. The 13th of March. And I think hopefully we'll pull this all together. David and John from Block by Block will be working with next week. And we'll be pulling the program together. They are aware of this possible partnership, and so they're trying to work internally through their processes. So hopefully we can kick this off real early in April. Any questions on that?
That's a good idea.
All right, next. So we issued, these are, this is not the brand we're talking about, but this is the branding process we did in Corpus Christi. Anyway, we issued an RFP for the branding website development. Let's see, it is, we issued it and they're due, I didn't look at my stuff, they are due March 20th, and then we're getting together a selection committee, I think it's March 26th, 27th. And I didn't bring my paper that had all this. And so when we get the proposals, we need to do a selection process. And so what we need is the selection committee will kind of be involved with staff, representative from the DLP, representative from DLMD, and possibly a representative from the advisory board. And so what we want to do is have someone from represent this board participate in the selection process.
And I will tell the board that I've asked Lisa to represent us at this particular organization. I think her downtown involvement speaks for itself, and she'll be a good eyes and ears for us and report back to us how it goes. And she was gracious enough to say yes. Might have got you at a weak moment, but 11 o'clock's a good time to talk to everybody tonight. So thank you very much for agreeing to do this.
And let me talk a little bit more then about, you guys are not out of it, right? This is just the selection part. What's really important is the approach that we take with branding will be very similar to the retreat open house process, or this process that we just went through with developing safety. There's going to be 3 months of engagement where we will have a kickoff reception telling everyone about what we're trying to accomplish and asking them their thoughts on it. And then we'll have focus groups, of which this will be a focus group. And then we'll start to test it a little bit in public meetings here and there. So it won't be like we'll go like this and then come back and go, surprise, here it is. It'll be, again, this engagement process, testing, and figuring out if it's going to work or not. So she's representing you on the selection process, but not on the final outcome. You'll all be a part of that. Okay. Okay, spring cleanup. May not look like it today, but it's really time to start thinking about spring cleanup. And these are pictures from what we did in Corpus Christi. Now, so I want to go over kind of the need, what we hope to accomplish, and then the partnership that we're working on developing and how you guys can help. So in some ways, I'm kind of the critical eye. Sometimes if you've been here in an area for a long time, it just is what it is, right? It just all looks the same. And so sometimes you have to say, hey, if you look at some of this stuff closely, there's some need here. And so I take a look at the cleanup as a way for us to go through the downtown and renew it, refresh it, put the lipstick on. And we want to go through like locusts and not leave any surface untouched, right? From building edge to building edge. And that means cleaning, sweeping, weeding, sweeping, painting, and so forth, so that in 30 days, downtown looks completely different. We want it to be, wish it could be faster, but it probably takes that long. I wish we could just go flip the switch and people go, oh my gosh, it looks so nice, right? And we want to coordinate that too. This is kind of some things in Corpus Christi. Again, you see how the crosswalks and the curbs look nice, kind of reinvigorate stuff. This intersection, when we started, was actually all under sand, almost. You can't see any striping, and there's signs missing. So we have to take a look at, are there signs that are damaged or missing that need to be, hey, it's time. If it looks like it's 20 years old, is it time to replace it, right? So there's a real partnership here. Anyway, so that's how the intersection looked after we were done. So I think that's the type of stuff. The need here is not as dramatic and drastic as it was in Corpus Christi. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't come high and say, hey, let's figure out how we concentrate our efforts for 30 days. We even took a look at property and said, hey, it's time for you to fix up your property, and it makes a difference. This was actually a city property, and so we actually, block by block, painted it and worked with Parks to paint it. So again, it's a partnership. We just got to get it done. The other part of the partnership is volunteers, city, and we got to get property owners again to think about have you looked at your property? Is it time to kind of do some fresh paint, some things just to kind of freshen your front door? And that's where we'll talk about a grant program here later. And then we want to coordinate with the city on a number of different levels. We want to make sure that we're coordinating with them when they're doing their planting. So we come through ahead of time, clean it, paint it, and they're coming in right after with the bloom, right? And so we actually, Kevin's been helpful in this regard. We have a meeting later today with Parks, with Streets, and a couple of different other departments, code enforcement. We want to see if there's a way for the city to concentrate their effort and not change necessarily what they're doing, but concentrate for the next 30 days while we're concentrating and make a real significant impact. I call it, let's put some W's in the win column together. And so hopefully by around, because we're starting a little bit late, it's probably going to be May 1 before it's going to be done. And hopefully in future years, we will start this at about this time. So come the meet time, I always say meet, it'll be ready. So when people start coming to town, boom, we're ready to receive company. Any questions on that? Okay.
So what kind of participation are you looking for from the board? I mean, you're looking for Tanya to come out there?
Yes. So, yes. So some of the stuff that we have to do is, what we have to do is figure out the schedule that works for volunteering and for city, and given the traffic and stuff that we have, because to a certain degree we're going to be in the right of way, so we got to be careful and plan for that. So, but there will be volunteer opportunities, and it could be kind of a cool thing to have the board come out and maybe we have, again, not nice shirts, but T-shirts that identify us, and we have a boards day. It could be, but we would probably do this. We might decide that we want to do it on a couple weekdays or weekday evenings, and then a couple weekends, so that we get folks who are residents who just volunteer. We had a program in Corpus Christi that was called Paint the Town, but not Paint the Town. It was called Paint the Town Tuesdays. So we had people come paint curbs in the evening from 5 to 8, and then we gave them pizza and beer. So it was kind of a fun way to do stuff, but we called it Paint the Town Tuesdays. Sometimes it was Wednesday or Thursday, depending on if it rained or not. Sometimes that happened. Okay. But yeah, so we'll try, that'll be part of our planning and our partnership. And again, you don't have to feel pressure, but some of it is fun. And again, whether it's planting or painting, the sweeping and other stuff is a little bit harder, but it's not too bad. Okay. Any other questions? Good. All right. Property improvement grant. It's in your packet. So before, people would come to the board and just say, hey, I have this idea, I'd like to do something. What do you think? What we're proposing is to make a property improvement grant program. And we've identified priorities of what you might want to fund, and then a process. So the first 2 pages kind of describe the program and how you apply. Then there's an application and a checklist, and then there's a budget, and then there's a summary invoice form. So a person interested in applying would meet with our staff, would complete this form, get quotes, and then what I'm proposing is we have a joint committee again to review these and approve or make the awards. So at the DLP last meeting, we allocated $15,000 to match the $15,000 of the DLMD award budget that goes through the remainder of this fiscal year. So we have a pool of $30,000, and so we want to do a joint committee. But rather than wait for the board, we want to be able to respond as needed to keep people moving. My goal would be that we do a couple things. We try to get people to do this as part of the cleanup, and so we want them to do it now. And we might identify folks who want to recruit. One thought process is the Top Chef is coming to town. Very exciting, right? And we have a brand new asset in the county courthouse. And part of that program and the taping in May and June will be centered around the farmers market. So it might be good for us to see if we want to try to recruit for this $30,000, because it's only 3 months, right? So there's not a lot you can do with 30 and get people to use in 3 months, but we might concentrate it on the and ask the property owners that abut the pavilion if they would want to apply, so that they can fix up, clean up their property as a collective. Now, some of them, they say, no, I pass, but I think we ought to go knock on their doors. Now, if someone else applies, great, but I think we ought to be proactive and see if we can get these folks to apply. So now if you think about it, we come through, clean up everything, paint everything, and now if we can get this to look nice, then when they start taping, we'll look really, really good as a community. So that's just a thought process. Again, anyone can apply, but I think we ought to start knocking on doors and try to recruit people. In the next fiscal year, we'll have a larger pool. But again, I don't think we ought to just be waiting for folks to come knock on our door. We ought to be looking out and say, who needs to fix their building? And we need to have that conversation. So we'll be intentional in that regard. But anyway, so we'd love to have, again, the board nominate someone to participate in an awarding committee, a grants committee, and so we can keep moving. We would make a report each month on any type of grants awarded.
Much like the branding process committee, this will function the same way. And I've asked Tanya if she would agree to represent us on that, and she has graciously said yes. So again, the same, just as Lisa will do, she'll report back and let us know, keep us informed. It's just Nick, you've talked about this forever. It's a much better way to functionalize. We have some standards now, and which you and Woodford have been asking for from day one, rightly so. Yeah, so I think this is a great idea, and we appreciate your efforts doing so. Thank you.
So Nick, you and Woodford are okay with this?
I think we're out.
I thought.
Yeah. Woodford and I had talked about this when Terry called me, so I think they've both been asking for this kind of process in place since day one. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So no more questions on that. And then I think we're just the operations report. So Dave's got a report on the ambassador program.
Terry, you pretty much covered the stuff that I was going to say today.
Sorry, I'm known to talk a lot.
But as far as I did start keeping statistics, I'm doing them 6 months from going 6 months back as I keep them up to date now. And some of the things that he was talking about the frequent problems as far as the safety program coming in, I had some pictures of some of the panhandlers that are there that's like everyday thing. These are the most powerful ones, and they're mainly the only ones that are definitely all the time out and about on Short Street, right there at Main and Groves. And that's some of the things that the safety program will deal with. And I don't know what some of these guys be taking where they cause them to pass right out on the sidewalk. The guy right there, that was right beside the Phoenix building on Vine Street. So there's a lot. Those are some of the things that we'll be dealing with. And then as far as I was going to talk about us doing our spring cleaning also. And I was going to ask the board that if there are any areas that y'all seen that might need to be done or something needs to be taken care of, but not to hesitate to give me a call so we can get on top of that.
Any questions of David? I will say, and Kevin knows this, and probably so does Steve, the parking authority has actually hired off-duty policemen to put them in the garages now. We've had so many issues downtown, especially in the transit center where a lot of the government employees park. We've had a number of close calls down there, so we have now guards there virtually all the time. Gray Construction had their own private folks over there for a long time, so it's a significant issue. I'm not saying it's these folks, but there's that kind of element that seems to be floating around and they like to go to the garages for obvious reasons.
Close calls, mass.
Chasing people. We've had one lady in the Department of Law got chased to her car, and if he hadn't fallen, he probably would have gotten hold of her. So so that kind of stuff's just can't be tolerated. So we've tried to do the best we can to staff up the security of all those garages, and I think the added safety folks you're going to bring to the table here, hopefully soon, will hopefully aid us in that effort.
Do they go into the private garages too?
We're just doing the ones that we control, which are the public garages. I don't know if there are any issues in the private garages. Anybody heard anything? Nick, have you heard anything? Or Scott, have you?
We have lots of problems.
Do you really?
At 106 West 9.
Do you really?
Yeah. I mean, daily.
I mean, I talked to the owners because I think everybody seems to be going to these off-duty folks. We had a security company and just really wasn't getting it done. I mean, the event happened with a security company, didn't even see it happen. Well, that was enough for me, so we got rid of it. And there's a number of off-duty policemen that do it for extra money. They'll do this, and they're trained, and they have a presence there, and they're seen. It's just a little more safety.
Who should they call? Who should I have them call?
We can give you the number of
Yeah.
we use them for our events.
Okay.
And then sometimes, like in the traffic garage, I get there pretty early in the mornings, and I kind of ride through, see what I see in the morning. There'll be a couple of mornings. Most mornings, I might have to wake someone up in my pocket garage myself. So I've done that. Even though I'm not supposed to, but I get them up. They'll have their blankets laying out and everything. They usually be right by the east exit when you come out, when you go out on Vine Street. They'll just lay out right there or in the stairwells. Now with the police, I often see them driving through the garage, but I never actually see them walking through the stairwells. I don't know if they're going to be doing that also, but they're always driving around in the garage.
Scott, have you had any problems in your own property?
Nothing significant. I mean, we've got security that generally runs them off, but Nick and I were just saying I haven't really, seen anything that or had significant problems.
I And ours has gotten better since everybody stepped up to the plate. They've had someone checking on the garage. The man that was there that was scaring everyone's gone away.
Any other questions for David?
I was gonna say, a lot of times now, sometimes it'll seem like a lot of them might be disappearing. That might have been because it was cold.
The weather.
And it's getting ready to get warm again, and a lot of them are gonna try to come back again.
I don't know if you've done anything with the scheduling, but it seems like I've seen more of your folks out and about than I'm out.
I tried to change it to where during the business hours, more people will see, there'll be more of us out on the streets and try to keep that appearance up so everybody can see them out there. I like Terry said that they'll know that a lot of people might say that it's clean down here, but I want them to know how it's getting clean. So we did change the schedule. We tweaked it a little bit.
And also, I'd encourage all the board members, if you see them out there, take a second just to go up and thank them, give them a pat on the back.
Yes,
That always means a lot to me.
I had a friend in from Louisville. He was meeting some friends from out of town at 21C, and they were attempting to walk dogs on Sunday with a feeding going on in the park by the courthouses, and they couldn't even get on the sidewalk. He said, Lexington, he said, I was really shocked. He used to live here. He said, I was really shocked. He said, these people couldn't even walk their dogs, that they had spilled over into the sidewalks there by Main Street. And I'm not out and about on Sunday morning that early to see. But he said they were saying, why is Lexington letting this happen? I said, well, we're working on it.
They did move, they do a couple of things now, and they surface a lot on Vine Street. So they did move a couple of them. I think the one that's out there, that's the one that is like, I think they do it only for, you ask them about, can they move it somewhere else? But it's like they do it so they can be seen for their own publicity or whatever. It's not that they don't want to help, but they want to be seen helping. So, but they refuse to move. It's the guy that always park his truck out there in our fees. It's the same one. They would not move. Everyone else is to move to a different location except this.
They noticed it.
On the weekends, especially if the weather's not bad on the weekends, there are a lot of them out there.
That's what he said.
And like I said, a lot of them, the city lot that's on Vine now, they feed in there like at 6 in the evenings. On Tuesdays, I've seen them out there on Saturday nights also. Because I'm usually here till about 7:30 or 8 o'clock at night.
Oh, I see you.
Yes, I'm always here. But it's not as bad as it was last summer. It's getting better.
Thanks, David. You want, Terry, you want to talk about any of the special events, or?
I think Laura's gonna.
Oh, okay. Laura?
Sure. So alongside your packet, you had a single sheet of the event and program report for this month. I'll give you just a second to pull that. The front side is all the information. We did look at this last month, so kind of glance over it again for the St. Patrick's Day Festival and Shamrock Shuffle. That is next Saturday, March 17th. It's a full-day event. It does include street closures. There's a parade, so just kind of be advised if you're downtown, your guests, your customers. It's a great time. I know the Irish Society puts a lot of hard work into it, as does Parks and Rec. It's a great time, but there are some traffic impacts. So on the back side, just kind of looking forward, there are several large events at the Lexington Center in March that will bring a lot of guests into town. Sweet 16, the high school basketball, we know that usually brings a lot of people. NCAA Regionals Women's Basketball Tournament is there as well, and then the Comic and Toy Con is this weekend, and that usually brings several thousand people over the 3 days, again, into the Lexington Center. No traffic impacts or anything like that as far as closures, but just wanted to make you aware. Save the date. We have been working really hard on some super exciting news for the 4th of July Festival. We're not quite ready to release that information yet, but I think a lot of you probably know what I'm talking about. So we'll do a press conference with Mayor Gray. Steve's going to speak on Wednesday, March 28th, 10 a.m. at the Lexington Financial Center on the Main Street side. So if you'd like to come to that, feel free, and we will be sending that news out. So very exciting. Stay tuned. And then in April, Central Bank Thursday Night Live kicks off April 5th. It runs weekly through October 11th. Again, no significant full street closures, but we do close one lane of Short Street between Mill and Upper. It's the southernmost lane for vendors and for valet and that kind of thing. So, really brief overview. Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns? Lovely, thank you.
Who's the construction new projects update? Is that you, Terry, or is that? Okay, thank
So,
you.
one of the things that we're going to be working a little bit harder on is figuring out how to communicate street closures, construction issues, when sidewalks are blocked and things like that, to all of you. And so, throughout the branding process and the strategic planning process, we'll be talking about the best way to communicate those. For now, we're putting things in the newsletters and using social media. So you may have seen last week whenever the streets were closed for the, I believe it was a chiller or HVAC replacement on Vine, that we sent those out. And we'll continue to do that for the larger ones as well. And so we'll start seeing as we develop the best way to reach out to you, and feel free to give us feedback on the best way that you think we should communicate those. Few things that are going on. If you look across the street from Rupp, sidewalks are closed for on the Gregorian site, movie theater site, where they're doing some site planning work, and some bulldozers out there moving some dirt and cutting down some trees there. And then the larger thing that I wanted to communicate and pass along regarding Town Branch, and you have a sheet here that's provided by the project manager, Brandy Feature. Is for the trail construction. And so the first phases of that you'll start to see this spring. It's nothing exciting. They have to start with the sewer. Not exciting, but definitely maybe the most necessary part in some ways. And what's important though, if you see the back page of this, there's different zones. That's how it's broken out for now. And this is sort of a draft sheet that she's prepared. However, there's going to be a number of opportunities for public input, and in specifically, Brandy is holding 3 meetings for people affected directly in the zone. So it's more neighborhood-style meetings for businesses, property owners that are in these areas. So in Zone 1 on May 1st, and we'll post all of these as well, and she'll be sending out notices as well. But May 1st, Zone 1 will have a meeting at 5:30 to 7:30 to talk about impacts to people who have property in that area. Zone 2 to 4, May 15th at the Central Library, and Zone 7 on the 24th of May at BCTC, Newtown campus. And like I say, we'll pass those along, but she's going to be hosting those to discuss specific construction impacts for the people that are in those areas. And so if you have property in that section or are affected by any work that's going on in that section, those would be really great to attend, and she'll be a great resource as they start getting under construction. So there'll be a little bit of pain as all this is being built out, but in the long run, the impact's going to be great for all of us. Any questions on any of that?
Thank you very much.
I got an update from Gary Means. He's out of town, is he?
He is out of town, yes.
Yeah. Anyway, they have brought in consultants who've kind of been engaging some folks and doing some research to discuss revenue enhancements and controls, efficiency and expense controls, and reduction opportunities, and then customer service and public outreach, which we're really excited about. We had a chance to sit down with the consultants, and kind of our perspective as an organization is we want to see more customer-friendly enforcement, and we hope that in the retreat and planning process that we talk about some partnership programs like Parking Angels kind of program, where we engage the merchants to invest in, hey, maybe we give the parking ambassadors a chance to forgive 20 tickets a month. And what it does is as compliments of these businesses, please come see us for a 10% discount or something like that. We turn a negative into a positive and get people to come back to the businesses. Things like that we'll talk about more at the retreat, but these consultants were really good and receptive to that, and they're going to generate a whole big report for the parking authority. there are two things I forgot to mention.
You also tell them that you told the consultants you want free parking. I follow Terry and you. I go, who said they wanted free parking? He said, somebody named Terry. I said, that's all he knows. All he knows. Free parking. I said, seriously, I want free parking. Okay. Free parking.
Nothing's ever free.
No kidding.
Okay, bike share. So we are working with the city and the campuses to try to figure out a way to bring bike share here very quickly. As a the business models have changed drastically over the last couple of years, and so what's called dockless bike share. So we've actually, as a steering committee of about 20-some folks, from Visit Lex to Commerce Lex to academic institutions and various departments of the city, LexTran and the Parking Authority, we've actually interviewed 6 different bike share providers, and we're trying to kind of come to a consensus of within our distinct geographies, campuses, and public right-of-way, and parks, transit, those things. Is there one that rises to the top that we want to try to have a conversation with and maybe come to a conclusion and get bike share maybe as quickly as this spring? So just know that that's something that we're working on diligently. And, you know, for downtown, it's really important, right? Helps. We were just talking about parking. You need less parking spaces for people who are riding their bikes to the businesses. And it's another way for people to come explore the downtown in the district. And so from a visitor standpoint and a business standpoint, really important. And for then the folks who don't have transportation, it's really important from first mile, last mile. How do you get to transit, which is the longest period of time and the most difficult, the most costly generally. So if you're half a mile from the transit stop, you can ride a bike too. And then when you get to the next transit stop and you're still a mile away from your business, you can use a bike share. So it becomes really important from a lot of different perspectives. And then the last thing is, remember we, in January at this board meeting, you approved an economic improvement plan and budget. We have to make sure that we communicate that to all the property owners. So Ethan's been working to draft a letter that Jim's going to sign. We're going to put the improvement plan and budget together, and we're also advertising that you're engaging in a retreat and open house, and that you want them to come to all the property owners to come to the open house. So it really is going to show that you're being very proactive, you're getting results, and we want your continued input. So that's going to go out, we think, in the next week. So that goes to all the property owners. And then we'll have a complete communication plan that Kyle and Brett have been working on for the board retreat, so that, again, we get lots of folks there, our key stakeholders, but also lots of our customers. And I think that's it.
Great. Any questions of Terry? Do try to make this event on the 21st. I think it's important that we have a good showing, so all of you can. If you can't do all of them, just do as many as you can. I know it's a fairly full commitment day, but just do the best you can. We'd love to have everybody out there. Okay, Miss Kate, we'll give you the floor.
Thank you. I'm Kate Savage, for those of you that don't know me. I run a nonprofit called Arts Connect. Some of you know me through other programs that I have, like my Mobile Gallery program, that in fact provides the artwork in several of the offices at this location, this piece, for example. Steve, also with Hilliard Lyons, both his outfits. I'm involved with the book benches, which is where you've probably seen me at these meetings before. And I also run this fundraiser in the summer called Paint the Town. It's a different kind of Paint the Town. This is artists actually painting Lexington cityscapes. It is, so let's see. Where do I go with this? I'm not doing it. Okay. Thank you. So just to give you an overview, it's an annual all-day plein air, which is just a fancy word for people who paint outside, painting event. It's held downtown. the last Saturday in June. This is the 7th year that we are doing this. Last year, over 50 artists participated. They came from all around, mostly from Lexington, but as far away as Coventry. The exhibition of their work is hung that day, late in the afternoon. It's a bit of a scramble, but we do get the artwork up at Arts Place, and then we have an opening reception that evening. The works are for sale. They stay exhibited for 3 to 4 weeks through the next gallery hop. The works are professionally curated. I had a judge come up from Nashville last year, recognized by this group of artists. There are cash prizes and a people's choice. And there is an evening event in the at Arts Place that is ticketed with food and wine. And last year, over 150 people attended. So that's sort of the overview of Paint the Town. The artists paint from 8 in the morning until 2 o'clock. They have their canvases stamped first thing in the morning with a little stamp on the back so that they haven't cheated and done half the piece the day before. So it has to be a virgin canvas. They then turn that piece in at 2. Most of the time it's still wet and running. And then we hang the work, as I said, and proceed through the day. Oops. What did I say? Which one is? Okay. So the reason I brought this to you all today is because I'm looking for you to co-host this event with Arts Connect. It seemed to me that it was kind of a no-brainer. This is the boundaries of the artist's area for painting, which almost identically mirror your core downtown management district area. You go out a little further beyond Jefferson, which is where we stop, and you go out further down Winchester when we stop at Midland, where all those roads converge. We also include 3rd Street, whereas you stop at 2nd. But it's essentially that same core of downtown. So here we have some of the artists out painting. It's a fun day, as you can see, and every single year we've been blessed with good weather. All kinds of different subjects that they paint, from Shakespeare and Co. to Thoroughbred Park to the Chinese horse outside Chase Bank. All kinds of different styles as well. There's Dan McGrath at the top, who makes a living painting, being very precise with his ruler. Others are a little more whimsical. And Donna Skips down here, she's an air hostess. She paints just for fun, but does have a studio at Artist Static, so she takes it a little more seriously. Christine Kuhn, who's done several of the murals around town. And then Enrique Gonzalez, who is a character in himself. All kinds of different styles. Eric Johnson on the right, on the left, very typical plein air painting, very small canvas, very assured of his work. Then on the right, taken through the garden at Hunt Morgan House. Very different styles. To the same point, this is Thoroughbred Park by 3 different artists in 3 different mediums, from 3 different angles, and you can see that each one has its merit. The one at the bottom sold, and so did Judy Quick's work on the left. The one on the right was done by a Frenchman who was here visiting his daughter from France, and just thought it sounded like a fun thing to do, so he went to Michael's and bought a canvas. Again, just an illustration of all the different types of styles. It's not, there are no rules in terms of who can or can't participate. These obviously are more amateurish, but they still have fun. This was Mariana McDonald, who decided to do a piece illustrating the cranes at the center point, which now looks quite different. And these are more typical of the plein air painters. This is the style, and they're just beautiful. And when you think about how these were all done and finished, nobody, comes in and touches them up afterwards. These were all done in 6 hours, folks. I mean, I'd still be trying to decide whether I was going to do a portrait or a landscape. You know what I mean? So I'm looking for you to co-host this event with me, and here you have a paper, and I'd like to invite you to be co-host a $10,000 letter. This would put you on an equal par with Arts Connect, so we would share this event. There would be recognition of the management district on all the website, brochures, flyers, social media, etc., as well as a prominent display of your logo. Then I think this is probably the thing that I hope is the most appealing to you, is that you would have an opportunity to invite all your funders to a private preview party. There would be a 10% discount on any exhibited artwork purchased that night. Then there would be an opportunity to address the attendees at both the preview party and then the public party that follows after that. And an opportunity to present the awards for the winning artwork. And also I have met with both Terry and Catherine on this. I believe I have their support. We were talking yesterday about forming a formal partnership on this so that they also would participate with their tools that they have at their disposal, like marketing and promotion and things like that. And then lots of obvious benefits that are the intangibles, and that's on page 2. Just all the reasons why you should do it. Because it specifically showcases your district. It's an event that draws interest, visitors, and the more people who come downtown, the more likely they are to spend money downtown, even if they're just eating. Increase awareness of Lexington and the downtown district, what it has to offer, the beautiful buildings that we have. And I think an event like this, in a sort of subliminal way, makes you realize that it is a safe city, that it is walkable, that it is friendly, which sort of speaks to, Thomas's point. Something like this makes you feel welcome, and I think that's good. It is an event that has the potential to grow into more of a whole arts weekend with pop-up things and public recitations or even little performance pieces, jugglers, who knows what. Of course, it supports the arts, which always creates goodwill. And then it does provide an opportunity for you all to do something that is sort of an appreciation thing for your funders. So that is just a very kind of basic little mock-up of the logo and incorporating both your logo and the Arts Connect logo.
Jim, can I just put,
Yes, sir.
you were stating, do we have funding in the budget to do something like this? And if so, does it meet the whatever guidelines?
That's a good question. I was just telling Terry, I said, I think that before we could commit to anything too, one is just what you said, something that we should engage in, because I know LexArts has got a public art fund of about $400,000 that you could go to maybe get something there. But the more important, we've got a lot of expenditures that will be coming down the road that we need to probably look and do a forecasting of our cash flows before we make any kind of decision on that, even if we feel like it's an appropriate thing.
Oh, and I do feel that way. I like it, but I just...
What I might recommend is we just kind of table this for right now. And again, Kay, I think it's a great project, but have you talked to LexArts about potential funding?
They are more interested in big projects that tap into many thousands of dollars, like the murals and things like that they do.
Why don't you ask them
More
for
like-
50,000? I'm kidding. Well, but I just really think we need to kind of talk amongst ourselves just to
I think we all
get
love
the
the project.
budgetary.
I'm trying to figure out where it fits within our what we're trying to do in our monetary budget as well as the criteria we've set for ourselves. So I would like to take a hard look at it, so if we could get the executive committee together and maybe discuss it. Because you need an answer pretty quick, don't you?
Pretty much, because it's the end of June. So
Right.
if you're in, you're in. If you're not,
Sure.
then I should press on. I mean, not to.
One question, Kate, the purchasing of the artwork, where do those funds go? They go to the artist?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Jim, does the executive committee then do they need anything from us, or can you all just make that decision? Do you want to?
Make a motion.
I'd make a motion to go ahead and if the board would give the executive committee the power to make that decision, communicate it back to.
I would second Steve's motion.
Okay. So we have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion on that?
That's a great idea.
Sounds like a great project.
Yeah, it's a great project.
Awesome.
Well, thank you. I do have a lesser offer.
Oh, aim high.
Well, of course, you start at the bottom.
Aim high.
This is at the $5,000 level. It doesn't get you as many goodies, but it might be something that is more, maybe for this year, more doable. And then next year, maybe up the ante some.
Go ahead, Terry. Yes.
So it could be also that if we do a cash flow projection of this organization and ours, maybe we can pool dollars and come together in this interim period and do some sort of sponsorship. But what I'm hoping is, as a result of our retreat and open house, is we come away with a thought process of, hey, we ought to be sponsors of some events that help the downtown, and that we have a sponsorship budget line items for the next fiscal year. But then there'll be a reason of, oh, okay, so someone has an event, what do we do? Instead we go, oh no, we have that, and we have a pool. We can decide then based upon that. So in some ways we have to figure out if the stopgap or the interim stuff, if we want to try to help this year. But next year we definitely ought to be in a position to do that.
If we do that, I think we need some real guidelines on what we're going to sponsor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
so-
actually, more of as a preventative, or else everybody's
A
going to
triage,
come.
yeah. It's almost, we should probably do something similar to the property improvement grant, right?
Right.
Here's our criteria, and here's how you apply.
So we had a motion and a second. I never did ask for the vote, so I guess I better get that. Technically be nice. All in favor of of referring this to the executive committee to make a decision, please say aye. Opposed? One thing I will tell you, Kate, and I talked to a couple of the board members, mentioned this to me, when we did the benches, and I know this was not your doing, but we didn't get much PR for that. You know, the Downtown Management District, was it 15,000 we did for a bench? And I don't, and it's not, I'm just making the observation, you know, you want to let the folks know what we're doing with their money, and we didn't seem like we got much bang for our buck publicly anyway. Maybe I'm wrong. The newspaper didn't really.
No, the newspaper didn't, but we don't have any control over
I know that.
And that's the hardest one.
Yeah.
We did have a TV spot last week, and we mentioned all three of our Opus sponsors, of which you all are one, and that was WKYT last Friday. And you're on the website every page.
Right.
Every time we do anything, you're there. The newspaper's a disappointment, but I think they must have some sort of policy where they don't promote for free because they're in the business of selling advertising. That's all I've concluded. It's not because Rufus has told me that, but it seems really hard to get the paper to give credit out anywhere.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
this is Arts Connect's effort, and this would be somewhat different in that way.
Gotcha.
And you would be co-hosting it, so you'd be emblazoned on everything.
Any other questions? Anybody? Kate, anybody?
How soon does this have to be done to the committee in order to?
I'm already sending out a save the date to artists, but that doesn't really involve anything other than just a e-blast, save the date.
We'll try to get you an answer this week.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else anybody might have while we're all here together? Andrew, you've been quiet today. Everything good?
Everything good.
All right, well, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn if we're all done.